Talk about Shiloh Hendricks, the woman who called a 5-year-old a racial slur. My first impression after watching the video, a little bit of white trash. I have to be honest, the kid was 5. I have worked with 5-year-olds for the last 15 years. Absolutely everything they do is out of pocket. They're like little unhinged drunk people. Nothing they do makes sense. A 5-year-old is capable of rifling through somebody's bag and taking things that don't belong to them. Ask any kindergarten teacher. But I realize why so many people are wanting to defend this. Because Black fatigue is real. I think society as a whole is there. We are just so unbelievably fed up with the ghetto ratchet behavior, entitlement, the victimhood, that they want to praise this woman. But what she did is not praiseworthy. But also on the same hand, please remember that every day that us white people get on this app, we get called racial slurs. Every single day. So if you don't want to be called a racial slur, you also have to stop calling people racial slurs.
Good morning. How did y'all manage to colonize an entire phrase? Let's talk about this Black fatigue thing. The English teacher in me is screaming because some of y'all managed to take a phrase that originated because we were sick of your shit and make it about you being sick of our shit. Black fatigue was used to describe the exhaustion and the stress that we feel as Black people living amongst some of your systemic and systematic racism, and basically to sum it all up, because we ain't got a lot of time this morning, you're bullshit, okay? It's because we're tired of you. But y'all have turned that around in this discourse this weekend and be like, no, we're tired of them. We're tired of being around them where they're acting a ghetto fool. We're tired of experiencing them. We're tired of...
It is not because you are Black. I repeat, it is not because you are Black. It is because you lack morals, self-respect, and character. You are loud, you are obnoxious, disrespectful, with very little regard for anyone else. You don't just tolerate dysfunction, you defend it, you protect the degenerates, and then you try to silence anyone who is calling for accountability. You let the worst of the community become the face of the community, and then you get upset when the world treats you like we are all degenerates. And then you want people to care about Black lives. When Black people kill more Black people than anyone, we are first in line to get an abortion. And the children that are actually in the community, they can't even read. And then instead of holding accountability for the things that are actually going on in our community, we scapegoat white people. White people that have nothing to do with what is going on within the Black community.
Boy. So we got to talk about a fascinating trend that is happening online that is pissing off Black liberals and white liberals. It's called Black fatigue, okay? Because you have certain people coming out and saying that, hey, you know what? I am tired of certain types of behavior in public from certain groups of people, okay? Like, for example, in viral videos like this.
You've been disrespectful and you haven't been tolerable at all.
Are you going to go check out your room or not?
I don't want to check it out.
Then get the fuck out of the hotel.
I want you to explain to me what the charges are.
Get the fuck out of the hotel.
Okay.
Or go check out the room.
We don't want to check out the room. I want you to give me a receipt. Tell me what you're charging us for.
I'll cancel the room. Here, I'll cancel the room right now. You can check out the fucking hotel. Give me the keys back.
Check out the fucking hotel. Disrespectful. And this is where we're going to spend our money at. You can't even give us a receipt.
I'm checking you out.
I know.
Good night.
I know. You're going to give us a receipt since it's not finalized until we get there, right?
Early departure? Early departure?
It's not going to be an early departure. You're going to cancel it because we didn't check in.
Right. That would be an early departure.
So you're going to give us 100% of our money back.
Nothing's been charged.
It was charged.
You said you already paid for the room, right?
On a third-party app.
Yeah,
and then we come to the check-in.
Stop.
And then we do it
everywhere.
Exactly. You're gonna make sure they pull it up so they can see how you jumped in my face.
Good.
Not play with me because I'm not the one nor the two. You're not the one or the two. Let's go. You ain't got shit done. You ain't gonna do nothing.
Name my ticket. Speaking on me for nothing.
Like I said, keep my name out your mouth.
Because mine is always in yours for some reason.
No, some reason.
It always
out of here. Out of here. Out of here before I slap the shit out of you.
You're not gonna smack.
Try me.
You think you're fucking up? I'm not
Try me.
listening.
Try me, Tinky. I be done drop kicked your ass. Get out of here, you dirty.
I'm not dirty at all.
Yes, you are.
Hey y'all, this how the Chipotle workers is. She threw away my food because I told her employees was moving too slow. She threw away my food, spent my whole break in this line. Got right here, she threw away my food because she's a fucked up ass manager. You're a fucked up ass manager. That's why your establishment is the way it is now. TikTok. Yeah. Yup. Let that shit go viral. How about that?
Life can change in an instant. One moment you're fine, the next, well, everything is different. You're left with questions, with pain, with the feeling that you've been wrong, and the system, well, it feels like it is built against you. This is why you need somebody that's on your side, somebody that understands, somebody that will fight for you. At Morgan & Morgan, they're not just lawyers, they're advocates. They're here to give you a voice when yours feels lost. They've recovered billions for people just like you. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, takes on all types of injury cases from car accidents to medical malpractice. They fight for your rights and the compensation that you deserve if you become their client so that you can focus on healing. They've achieved significant verdicts over the past few months for the victims involved in life-altering car crashes, like out in Florida, a $12 million verdict, which was over 34 times the highest insurance offer. And they work on a contingency fee basis, which means that you don't pay unless you win. It's really that simple, to be honest with you. So you can start your claim now with Morgan & Morgan at forthepeople.com/blackconservative, which will be in the description below, right? The link will be in the description below, or you can scan the QR code on the screen with your phone's camera. Yeah, so people are sick and tired of seeing that type of behavior from a certain demographic, right? And I think what people are actually really tired of the most is seeing that type of behavior and then never taking any type of personal accountability or responsibility for it. Just blaming the white man and saying, well, it's the white man's fault, right? It's racism. It is all these other people's fault that this type of behavior routinely occurs in public spaces by a certain demographic. And, hey, people are now expressing themselves. And
Yeah, because that's not thuggery, hoodrattery, animalistic. This is why people have black fatigue. When you act like this, it's not normal behavior. People do stupid stuff. People say stupid stuff. That's life. It's not normal to threaten to unalive people because you don't like what they're doing. But here we are. People are getting sick and tired of opening up TikTok and seeing brawls on cruise ships, brawls in the airport, like literally the most ghetto behavior. We're tired. We're tired of it. But then whining and complaining and acting like it's not your fault that you act that way. Yeah, we're kind of over it.
because of that, you have these black and white liberals. They're currently losing their minds over black fatigue going viral. Take a look.
Black fatigue is obviously asinine and extremely racist, but something that I do believe in is white fatigue. And I don't mean that I'm fatigued as a white person. While I am fatigued, I'm fatigued by these other white people who are, I don't know if they're more stupid or they're more racist, way above average scoring in both of those categories. And those two traits form a coalition of white supremacy where they just make it impossible to exist without feeling so exhausted by having to explain this is not a normal thing to hear black fatigue and to think that black people are inherently worse. That's absolutely fucking insane. It's exhausting to have to say that so frequently that it's just you're just racist, and that it's exhausting. It's like talking to a wall.
Why is racism coming back? More buzzwords to justify it. The newest one is black fatigue. Before that, it was DEI. You understand there's never anything good enough for these racists, right? Let's explain what black fatigue actually is. Black fatigue is actually a book on how racism erodes the mind, body, and spirit and explores systemic racism and its effect on black people. These racists aren't even smart enough to know the definitions of the words they're using, such as DEI. Why are we giving them any attention?
You can always count on Republicans to take the definition of a word and twist it to fit their own agenda. They did the same thing with DEI, where they made diversity, equity, inclusion a bad thing, which is insane to me, because every single person who isn't a white straight man benefits from DEI. Now they're doing it with black fatigue. Black fatigue refers to the emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by the daily stress of living under systemic racism and its consequences. So basically the only people who really experience black fatigue are black people and the shit that we deal with. But now they're just tired of black people. So basically you're racist. Like, hello? I'm tired of living in a society with black people. I am fatigued. And then I've seen like even some black people come on here and say they're tired of black people too. I'm like, bitch, are you good? Like, what is going on? It's getting weird. And obviously these Republicans have always been good at doing this. Always been good at changing the meaning of things and boosting it out to their following. And
white people who are appropriating the term black fatigue are doing so because their goal was to never see us happy in our blackness, be proud of our blackness, choose blackness over whiteness. Being is it that we make up such a small percentage of America, it's interesting to me how offended they are by maybe 1 out of 10 people, if they even know one of us.
If you're a white person claiming to have black fatigue, get bent. What do you think black people have? Oh, poor white people have black fatigue, so tired of being politically correct and treating them like people. What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? Black people in 2025 are still seeing instances every day where white people are treating them less than human. We had something literally a week ago where someone has raked in $600,000+ for calling a black autistic child the N-word after he took something out of her son's bag. Black fatigue? You have black fatigue? What the do you think black people of color have in this country?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. But first thing I want to say, okay, before we get into the next part of this video, is that the double standard is crazy, right? So these people are upset by this term black fatigue going viral because you have people, and it's not just white people, again, we're going to get to that are basically coming out and saying, yeah, I have black fatigue, right? I'm getting tired of certain people acting up in public, right? Doing things in public and never taking accountability or responsibility for it. And apparently it's okay for you to use black fatigue as a black person if you are describing how you're sick and tired of white people and white supremacy, right? It's okay to use that phrase when you are experiencing white supremacy, right? To say, hey, I have black fatigue because I'm tired of white people. Totally fine, right? But if you happen to be white and you say, hey, I have black fatigue because I'm tired of black people, all of a sudden it's a problem, right? Again, I think this is why you have people on the internet who are saying they have black fatigue, okay? The double standards and the hypocrisy, I think just pisses people off, right? I think it's driving people insane. But again, the funniest part about this, right, is that as a black person, I know for a fact, right? There's no doubt in my mind that some of the people in this country with the strongest case of black fatigue are not white people, right? They're not the so-called white racists. They're actually other black people who deal with black people on a daily basis, which is why you have a lot of black people on the internet basically admitting that, yeah, I got black fatigue too, right? Roll the clip.
Well, let's talk. This is the first time I'm hearing this phrase on TikTok, but I could use context clues and understand what it is. So, funny story, I'm scrolling on TikTok, minding my own business, just getting lost in the videos, and a white woman pops up in my algorithm and it's titled Black Fatigue. And I'm like, this should be interesting. Now, this is a creator that I've really grown to respect their videos. Basically, in her video, she's calling out the black community for different ignorant things that we do. And it's not just her. I've seen a lot of white people on this app kind of come out. It's almost like, raise your hand if you've been personally victimized by Regina George type of videos. And that's what they're doing toward black people. Here's the thing. The videos that I've personally seen is not racism. It's accountability. It's one of those to where they are tired. They are fed up to where they have opened their camera and they start confessing the things that agitate them about the black community. And because we have gotten to that point, you know who I blame? The black community.
Black fatigue is a thing. Newsflash. White people don't want to live around ratchet black people. And black people don't want to live around ratchet black people. I mean, it's nothing like going to the Walmart on a Sunday morning and then you see the bonnet crew walk in. Loud, obnoxious, the kids are everywhere, in every aisle, unattended. And that's anywhere you go, no matter what. They're highly emotional, highly sensitive. You can't say nothing. You can't even smile and hold the door for them because they'll look at you like you're crazy. And always the victim of something. Either you stepped on a shoe, you looked at them wrong, you told them good morning. They're never happy, they're never satisfied. And you wonder why normal, good black people move out of the hood as soon as they start getting successful. I was one of those black people that said, man, if I made some money, I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna buy up this, buy up that. I'm gonna support the community. As soon as I got my money, I got the fuck up out of there.
So here's my honest opinion about black fatigue. Black fatigue actually exists. However, black fatigue does not exist in a way that a lot of non-black people think. It has nothing to do with race and everything to do with culture. It is the culture, the society, and the environment you are raised in. It has nothing to do with race, and it never was about race, because if it was about race, then every black person would be acting like that. Black fatigue is a poison well that is consumed by certain locations and environments. Another majorly important factor is accountability. If black people in general don't hold each other and others accountable for our and their actions, there will be no change within our communities. The destruction of property and violence, the need to be extremely loud and ratchet for no reason.
There's an interesting phrase going around these days. It's called black fatigue. When I heard that shit, I started laughing because I've been had black fatigue. I love black people. See, it's the difference between black people, you understand? And what it should be called is fatigue. Because even black people have fatigue. You understand? The ghetto ratchet bullshit. All the ignorant stuff that these people stand for. All the ignorant stuff that these people defend. All the weird shit that these people say. All the victimization and acceptance of the bigotry of low expectations and all the Stockholm syndrome and all that shit like that. All the random acts of violence that people want to ignore because it's black on black, which they also want to ignore and just say it's proximity crime, but no, it's black on black crime. It's an epidemic. Black fatigue is some real shit, and y'all are getting what the fuck y'all wanted to get when y'all wanted to perpetuate racism, because nobody in America is perpetuating racism but black people. Get out of your neighborhood and out from around all the rest of the bullshit people that you with to understand the reality of what's going on in the world. And what you will see is that it's people that look like me that's perpetuating racism, because white people don't give a they not running around talking about what our hairstyles are and you can't wear this and you can't wear that and you can't say this and you can't say that. It's weird, bro. It's weird.
Yeah, I gotta tell you guys, these black people have a point, right? I already know that, you know, the race hustlers, right, the pro-blacks are going to come out the woodwork and say that all these people are not really black, that they're selling out, that they're racial slurs, etc., right? Which is a part of my black fatigue, right? Because I got black fatigue too. And I actually think that a more accurate term for black fatigue really is N-word fatigue, to be honest with you, or ghetto fatigue, okay? I think that those are more accurate phrases for what a lot of people are experiencing, including black folks. I already tell you guys all the time, right? I make jokes about this, but I'm serious. Like, I don't shop at Walmart. I just don't, right? Like, I just refuse to go into that establishment, okay, for certain reasons. Because of the people who tend to shop at that establishment, I just feel like from a survival perspective, right? There are just certain places or situations I'm not going to put myself in, because I know that there are certain demographics that frequent those areas. And I know if there are certain demographics that frequent those areas, then I'm probably not going to go, right? It is what it is, okay? I mean, this is a conversation that I have quite a bit, right? Where, you know, I'll have friends or whatever and say, hey, do you want to go here? Do you want to go there? Do you want to go to this event? And the first question I ask is, how many black people going to be there? I'm so serious. And then I calculate. I say, all right, is this type of event, right? This is like a hip hop event. All right, then likely there are going to be a disproportionate number of black people there. Probably people from the wrong side of town. You know what? I'm going to skip this function, right? I'm just not going to hang out at this function, okay? It is what it is, right? I mean, yeah, if I'm moving into a neighborhood, I want to know the demographics, right? I want to know the demographics. I want to know who lives in the neighborhood, what is the ratio, what is the crime rate. I want to know all these things, okay? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, you know, hey, this is a thing that is real, right? It's a real thing. And it's funny because in my personal life, I make jokes about this all the time. And again, anybody that knows me personally knows I make race jokes about everybody, right? Because I just like race jokes. Okay, I think they're hilarious. Okay, there's, you know, some truth grounded in some of these jokes. And I want to be clear here, right? I don't want people to get it twisted. It's not really a race thing as much as a culture thing, okay? Because when it comes to black folks who are law-abiding citizens, who, you know, are just regular, normal working folks, right? That don't glorify degenerate, ratchet behavior. Hey, I love black people, right? I love those people, okay? What I don't like, again, are the degenerates. And I just don't like the degenerates of all races, to be honest with you. But, I mean, again, we got to be honest about the trend that we tend to see, right? The fact is that we have a disproportionate amount of black folks who engage in these behaviors, okay? So I want to be clear about that. But to me, it's funny because, you know, there's a certain level of truth to it that people don't want to admit, right? That's just the reality of the situation, right? And if you don't like this reality, then I don't know, maybe behavior should change, right? Behavior should change. Maybe, just maybe, if black folks started condemning these destructive behaviors, okay, these degenerate behaviors, the ghetto behaviors, instead of platforming it, instead of essentially putting people who are the worst among black people on a pedestal and glorifying a culture that, again, is destructive, that is violent, that is degenerate, that is not good for kids to emulate. If black people stop doing that, then it will go away. Then you wouldn't have this thing that is happening where people are saying, hey, you know what? I'm tired of this behavior and I'm going to try to stay away from it, right? I'm going to try to avoid these people at all costs, right? I'm just saying, whether these black liberals want to admit it or not, it's true. It's true. There's a reason why when you have black people who grow up in the hood, black liberal, black conservative, doesn't matter what their political ideology is, right? If they grow up in the hood and they happen to be successful, right? They happen to get out of the hood, they're not going back, right? They don't go in the hood and try to buy more property or try to, you know, raise up the hood or whatever. No, they gone. They long gone, right? They don't come back. They never go back, right? And there's a reason why, okay? These white liberals, they got it as well too. This is why they don't like low-income housing in their neighborhood, right? This is why they vote against it, right? When it comes to affordable housing being built near them, oh, they don't like that, right? They will vote against it quick, fast, in a hurry, okay? The easiest place to find segregation in this country is a white liberal suburbia, right? Some of these places in the Northeast, okay? You talk about New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, you know, Delaware, right? Some of these places. Again, them white liberals that live up north, they don't want to deal with some of these people. Now, they'll put the Black Lives Matter sign outside of the house, right? They'll talk about how much they love black folks and so-called people of color and illegals. But as soon as those people move into their neighborhood, their town, no, they're not having it, right? They're not having it. Again, that's the most hilarious part about it. All of these people know that this is a thing, right? But they don't want to admit that it's a thing, right? And you know, again, my whole thing is that if you want to change it, then you have to change the culture, right? The degenerate behavior must be condemned. The ghetto, ratchet behavior, we can't continue to glorify it. And as long as we do, and you continue to see this unruly behavior in public, right? The violence, the random acts of violence, the theft, the looting, right? All of these things, right? As long as we continue to see this stuff, then, you know, hey, it's only going to grow. And like I said, it's not a white thing, right? This is not a white thing in regards to people feeling this, okay? There are a lot of people that feel this. They just don't want to say it out loud. And again, I'm just saying, if you are black, it is likely that you have the strongest case of so-called black fatigue because black people tend to live around black people, to be around black people their whole lives, okay? And when they escape, right, again, they don't go back for a reason, okay? For a reason. So again, you're going to see a lot of these black liberals virtue signaling, but I guarantee you a vast majority of them live in white neighborhoods, okay? They don't live in the hood. They don't live in black neighborhoods. They don't. They stay away from it, okay? But they'll come up here and virtue signal about, oh, it's so racist to say this, and blah, 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 blah. But they have it, right? They just don't want to admit it. They just don't want to admit it, just like the white liberals don't want to admit it, okay? So, you know, ultimately at the end of the day, people are no longer afraid to say how they feel. And I think that's a good thing because, again, one side can say whatever they want about how they feel about white people, and that's fine. That's their freedom of speech. But, hey, I'm just saying, freedom of speech is a double-edged sword, right? You're going to have other groups of people who are going to say, you know what, we're going to say how we feel. about certain situations, right? In certain groups of people, okay? Again, it's okay to say you have black fatigue when you're talking about being tired of white folks, right? But it's not okay to say you have black fatigue when you say, hey, I'm tired of black people. Again, it's just funny how that works, right? It's totally fine to say whatever you want about how evil, how bad, how mean, how despicable the white man is. But as soon as somebody give you that same energy, that same smoke, and they say, the black folks, right? I don't like your behavior, okay? I don't like this and that, right? All of a sudden, there's a problem. Right? People boo-hoo, whine, and cry. Oh, you can't say that. It's racism. I call it freedom of speech, to be honest with you. It's freedom of speech. And again, in this case, I just find this to be a funny topic because of just like the fact that I've personally experienced this, right? I've personally experienced it. And I know all these people who are upset, they've experienced it as well too. They just don't want to tell the truth about it. But, in 2025, it seems as if people are fed up with being silenced, right? And they're saying how they really feel. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I think that is, how we really make progress, right? Is when people can openly say how they feel. That way, everybody is very clear where everybody stands, and you go from there. But when you have a society where you have these double standards where certain people can say certain things that, other people can't based off skin color and race, then, you get the issues that we have right now, right? So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.